So I'm going to tell you a little bit very quickly about Youth Aliyah Child Rescue. We have been in existence since 1933, so quite some time now. We support at-risk children in Israel, children who don't have a safe home to live in, who don't have a family in Israel who can care for them, and they live communally in youth villages around Israel. We support 5 youth villages, and in those villages they get all the support, all of the help that they need so that they can go on to live amazing lives, to live the lives that we would wish for our own children. The children that are coming in are really at the end of their tethers. Many have been kicked out of other schools, some have been kicked out of home, almost 10% are orphans and have nowhere else to turn to. But the children that are coming out as a result of the work that we are supporting, our children, our graduates are becoming doctors and politicians and lawyers and social workers and teachers and parents and loving partners and contributing members of society who are fulfilled in their own lives, and we could not be more proud of them. So know that this is what our charity does. Although the event is free, Amit and Liraz have donated their time, have given their time this evening in order to support our charity. So if you're able to make a donation afterwards, it will be matched 100% by an anonymous donor, which is incredible. We will be sending you a link after the event tonight where you can make a donation online, or you can just go to our website. There's no obligation. Obviously, please enjoy the evening with no pressure. But if you can, it would be greatly appreciated, and it will be very, very well used, I promise you. I'm going to keep it super short because I do want to get to the main event. I want to thank our anonymous donor for matching all of the gifts that are being made tonight. So thank you for doing that. It will make a big difference. In terms of housekeeping, just know that in this format, the webinar format, we cannot see you and we cannot hear you, so you can relax and be comfortable. If you either see at the bottom of the screen, or if you hover your mouse or your finger over the screen, you will see a Q&A icon at the bottom of the screen. At any time during the event, you can type in questions and I will come back on at the end of the interview and we can ask those questions to Amit. Use your name if you don't mind your name being used, bearing in mind it's being recorded and then it will go onto our website. But if you'd prefer for your question to be read anonymously, just note that in your question. I'm going to now stop talking and get on with the main event. So I'm going to introduce our 2 guests tonight. So Liraz Chamami is an Israeli actress who has been working very, very hard in this industry for over 10 years. She has enjoyed a lot of success in Israeli television so far. And recently I had the absolute thrill of seeing her first feature film where she was the lead role called Happy Times. It showed at JW3, which was incredible and a lot of fun. Liraz is also a friend and neighbor, full disclosure, and so she has been helping us to put these events together. Thank you, Liraz, you're amazing. And Liraz is going to be interviewing Amit. Amit Rahav is a rising star in the true sense of the word. I hope that you have seen him in Unorthodox, the mini-series from on Netflix. He played Yankee Shapiro, the husband of the protagonist, Esty Shapiro, who left the ultra-Orthodox world. So I'm going to allow them to tell their own stories rather than me giving a boring introduction. So Liraz and Amit, come onto the screen and say hello. And work your magic.
Hello.
Liraz, hi. And Amit, here he is. Oh. I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'll be back later. Have fun.
Thank you. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to dive into your story. Amit, you studied something like roughly a decade below my year in acting studio, which is the Johan Levinstein acting studio. And I'm sure you feel the same like me. I'm sure you feel like it's the best acting studio. But you have like a completely different story from, I would say, every rising star in Israel. Because on your first year in acting studio, you already had an agency. You receive an email from the agency and they say, there's a big series, it's in Yiddish, go to the audition.
Yeah.
And what happens next?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say I'm so happy to be here and thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited for this. And yeah, as you said, it's quite an unusual story because once I got the audition, I was so stressed in school. I'm a theater nerd. I'm a geek from inside. So I was very, into my studies and very determined on my goal to finish school. And yeah, I'm very focused. I was very focused back then. And this audition just seemed very, it came out of the blue and I was very stressed and I had to learn my Greek mythology monologue for my class. And suddenly learning 5 pages in Yiddish seemed, an enormous task. And thinking that I could play a religious guy and I mean, it seems very distant for me and something that is unachievable, and why should I waste my time on it, and I probably won't, like all fears and things that prevented me from actually just going and trying my luck.
All the why not to.
Exactly, and there were a lot. And after like a month that I was just literally telling my agent to stop, asking and stop offering.
Was she bothering you about it?
She was not bothering, but she was just like offering more dates, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm drowning in work. There's like so many things to do in my first year in acting school. It's the most stressful year. I have no time to go and present myself in the right way that I wanted to be presented in. I wanted to be seen as a professional, and I knew that I would probably mess it up, but I went because she managed to somehow get to me, my agent, and I went, and suddenly when I was there, I realized in the room, I remember this actual moment that I realized how stupid I was the past month, and kind of arrogant, and just like I missed it, and it was just in front of my face, and suddenly I got hooked, and I was kind of it made sense that I want to do it, but it was only the first step, the first audition. I didn't know if we would continue with the auditioning process.
You didn't know it's for Netflix.
I did not know it's for Netflix. They said it was just for a European TV show in Yiddish. I thought like it would be something probably for, I don't know, Croatia, something. I had no idea. And then I've been told that my next audition is in front of Shira Haas, which was I reacted the same. I had the same response, and a funny thing is Shira and I are best friends for the past 10 years. We've been friends and we grew up together, and it was,
which, to be honest, when I first heard about it, I was shocked.
Yeah, it is very cool because eventually we did the show together, but it was just a coincidence. By coincidence, we know each other. I mean, they auditioned, the show creators, Anna Winger and Alexa Karolinsky, and Maria Schrader, the director, auditioned Jewish young people from around the world, and during that time, from the US and from the UK and from Germany and from a few other countries, and in Israel. And they were looking for people who could speak Yiddish, and they were searching for actual ex-Hasidics in the beginning to see if they could act, because they do have the Yiddish already.
Yeah.
And this was the most challenging part, like to audition in a language that is totally foreign for me. I've never spoke Yiddish before. I never heard it. I just had to learn it from scratch.
So can you elaborate about it a little bit? Can you tell about your own background? Like, you were born in Tel Aviv?
Just outside of Tel Aviv in Herzliya.
Okay, so born and raised in Herzliya.
Yeah.
And siblings, what the origin of your parents, how does it work? How does it, give me a picture of your house when you're a child?
Yeah, so first of all, and maybe the most important part of this whole conversation, my mom is British and I'm half British. Actually, I have two passports. And I've just heard that it should be changed to the blue one. And they didn't update me. They didn't let me know.
Yeah, sorry, we haven't managed to stay in the...
I mean, you call me before the UK. Yeah, so I've been raised and born in Herzliya, and and I had a very secular childhood. I have nothing to do with the religion. I mean, I had my bar mitzvah, and I had we do celebrate holidays and stuff. And I'm connected to my Judaism, but not in a way, not in a daily on a daily basis way.
So basically, everything was new to you.
Everything was new to me. That's why I was so I was so sure that why would someone cast me at the beginning, and what does it have to do with me? Because I'm so it's like the opposite. Yankee Shapiro actually is the 180 degrees opposite person of me, and I'm not sure if we would get
with you. When you say that, you mean your character? You're very different from him.
Me as Amit is very different from Yankee. Yeah, it's interesting to know if we would get along if we met. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but we are very different, and it was just like the biggest gift for me as an actor to get the opportunity to portray someone and a character that is so far from who I am in my personal life, and it was just the most challenging and satisfying thing both at the same time. And yeah, I kind of lost track. Where am I taking this to? What was the first question? My background.
It's okay, you answered it whole. So you and Shira were friends from high school, different high schools, but you knew each other. And then
yeah. And then they called us.
And then you get the email that says that you're doing a match audition with her. And you're giving her a call.
I called her, and it was like, hey, it's so crazy and I'm so excited. And Shira obviously was very well known in Israel before, and it was I was very excited to act with her, even just in this room. It was just like a cool opportunity for us to act together, and we've always wanted to play together. So it was just a very, very nice opportunity, just for the fun, just for the heck of it, to try and act together. And the night before our chemistry test, we spoke on the phone together and read our Yiddish lines together. And for the first time, I was in my room and she was in hers. We spoke the scene, like the lines, to each other. None of us understood what the other person said, but it felt right. I mean, we felt it was just like there was some, like this energy, and it felt connected and right, and it felt very it felt very special, this moment. I remember it on my bed. The day later, we met in the room. I brought some clothes from my dress department, in my drama school. I stole some religious clothes for this audition. I was dressed up.
I'm laughing only
Kind
because I know that warehouse,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
know how hard you probably managed, like how hard
yeah.
you had to deal with
And
everything in order to steal
the
clothes
dust,
from it.
the dust away to find some clothes. And yeah, I was dressed up as like not like Yankee, but something like maybe something close to how I looked in the
A
show.
Haredi wannabe.
A Haredi wannabe, yeah, exactly. And yeah, the audition I remember was very we were very tense, but it felt right. And actually to my last chemistry test, they had like they were running late, and I was just coming in, and they told me that they're going to eat lunch before our chemistry test, the last
Okay.
so we ate lunch. We ate hummus actually just outside the audition room. Me, the casting director, the director, and Shira, the four of us. She's dressed up
Wow.
as a religious girl. I'm dressed up as a religious boy, and we're all eating hummus, and it's boiling hot. Um, and it was just like very funny and it was an icebreaker actually, because we were very stressed before the audition, so we had this opportunity just to eat together hummus. We went into the room. The hummus had its magic, it made its own magic on this event. And yeah, and then when we got the call we're in, it was just probably one of the happiest days of my life.
Okay, and then you get to call, and what a minute after you cool down from the excitement, what goes into your head?
I go back into class to this performance of this girl about like wars in Israel and something very dramatic, and like the opposite of what I'm feeling from inside. And they were like, she was using sirens sounds and like sad memorial songs, and she had her own performance in class, and it was very surreal. And from inside, I was like knowing this big secret. I was screaming from inside. Um, and then like a month or two later, I flew to Berlin to start filming and working on the show. And
I just want to
it
give
was,
a side note, because I know Yoram Levinstein, the founder and the great teacher of our acting school, that to allow an acting student to leave the acting studio in order to film a series, it's something that is very rare. Usually he would say you can go, but if you go, you don't get your money back and you don't have a place to come back to. This is how harsh he is. But I'm really, really glad that he allowed you to do it. And more than that, I'm really, really glad you went back to acting studio. And I think it's one of the best things about your story, that you went back to acting studio and you had the wisdom to, not to jump too high and to go back to your modest place of being a student, which for me, it says everything about you. So you're getting the role, and Yoram is, what do you say to Yoram? I mean, I'm sorry that I can't even give you the picture of the person, but this is crazy. I can imagine the conversation, but I would love if you can tell us.
Yeah, I just remember, it was like 2 years ago, 2.5, maybe 3. So Netflix wasn't as big in Israel as it is now. And so I was trying to explain to him what is Netflix. I didn't know what it is, but not like I know now. And I was just like, yeah, it's international. I'm not sure if it will be aired in Israel, but it's in Germany, and I have to do this. I didn't know how big it's going to be. I did not know.
Really? So you already knew it's going to be on Netflix, and you didn't know how big it's going to be? You didn't expect all of it to become what it is now?
100% no. I thought that it's going to be just like this sweet show that people will see in Germany and maybe like in Israel. It's going to be a niche show. It's very, listen, it's very not, it's a very specific story. It's very not, it's not a common story. It's about a specific community in a specific area with a specific way of life. It's like the Jewish religious, it's very extreme.
But you
It's
didn't
very hard.
expect it after Stiesel going, so I can tell you from my experience, not just as an actress, just as someone who lives here in London, I can tell you that even non-Jewish people watch Stiesel. Like, I remember I met a yoga teacher that she's not Jewish, she was like 28. And when we met and I said, yes, I'm an actress, yes, I'm a yoga teacher, the first thing that she asked me was, are you in Fauda or Stiesel? Everybody watching it. So you didn't expect it?
So funny story, just a quick story. Last week I was sitting in a bar in Tel Aviv and this girl was coming over. She was, I think, from the US, and she was like, oh my God, you're the guy from Stiesel. I love you so much. um, and I was like, yeah, it's just like, it's the other one. Yeah, so no, I did not imagine it would be that big. I thought to myself, it's in Yiddish. It's about religious people in the Jewish community, from the Satmar community. Why would it be? It has nothing to do with the phenomenon. It's like nothing here can lead to a hit show. Like the beginning, this whole plot and storyline has nothing to do with a cult or like with just a hit show. So I had no doubt that it would be good, but I didn't know how big will it, explode, I guess.
Okay, and now that you know, now that after it happens,
yeah,
what happens with your life? I mean, it's a pretty much shocking way of becoming famous.
It's very shocking, but I must say that it happened on the first week of lockdown here in Israel. So first of all, it made me think that it probably even more. It will even it will even succeed less than I thought it would because of COVID and everyone are stuck at home and nobody, and we're all like panicked and worried, and like the world is gonna end and nobody knows what's going on. So why would people now watch this show? And I was totally wrong. Um, and 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 it just like flipped my life, as you said, from like the next day it just like flipped my life, and suddenly getting all those messages on Instagram and like on social media from all the best actors and people I adore, and people with like millions of followers suddenly are posting pictures of me and speaking about the show and texting me, and it was just like overwhelming in like the most extreme way. And the good side of it is that I could always just like shut off my phone and just suddenly become back a normal person who is stuck in his own personal lockdown. It was kind of surreal to feel this experience, because whenever I wanted to become um I mean sane again, so I could just turn off my phone and forget about it all, because it was only through the internet and social media.
Yeah. So you feel
have,
like in a way COVID saved you from going insane?
it was very grounding. It was very, very grounding. And I had the control over it. I mean, I did stay up every night until 4 a.m. checking my phone and getting messages, trying to, never go to sleep and stay in the same time zone as the rest of the world at the first week. But then when I was, you know, very, very tired, and I had like the biggest eye bags. I was like, okay, go to sleep, turn off your phone, everything will wait. You need to slow down.
And what does it mean about your career? How does it affect your career?
Um, I mean, in the best way. So still, it's still. I mean, we are still kind of in COVID um, time. So it is still it is still combined together, my career and COVID. So, for instance, I got myself managers in LA who are um, in on a weekly. We are in contact every week, and I'm sending like self tapes of me to LA, to Hollywood, and getting these really cool offers, and we're considering stuff, but I haven't met them in person yet, so it's
Yeah.
kind of funny.
Just to
So we
clarify it to the people who are watching us, usually what will happen is that when you get an offer, when you get an audition, if it's big and the casting director, the director, the producers are extremely serious about you, they will fly you over to LA, pay the ticket, pay all the everything that they need to take care of, in order to see you face to face and have you in flesh in the audition. So obviously COVID is affecting. And do you start feeling like you want COVID to end so you can fly to LA, do auditions? Do you feel like, do you still have those feelings that you had when you were in first year, thinking this is way too much for me, this is way too big for me, or now you feel like bring it on?
bring it on, bring it on. Like I'm ready. I've been ready for the past year, like been sitting very politely and quietly and waiting patiently for this period to end. And I mean, we all got vaccinated, and we used our masks, and I mean, I hope we are getting to this, like, to the end of this era. But I am planning to travel to LA in September if everything will go right and the world will continue in this direction. I know it's kind of still confusing and things seem still unclear, but I mean, I'm planning to travel for the first time. Actually, I haven't traveled since COVID, since the show aired. I haven't been anywhere outside of Israel. Um, so I mean, this wall is using me to film myself time. So this is like,
yeah,
I'm in
tell me about it.
right now.
But you are
So
planning to come to London in August.
I have some family to visit, and I have some meetings to do, and I miss this city because I mean, I grew up kind of in London, and I mean, I decided I wanted to be an actor in London. Probably my mom used to take me each year in Hanukkah, or I mean in December, to all pantomimes and to all the West End shows and plays, and so it's, for me, it has like the specialist place in my heart, and it's where I dreamt biggest, and I need to come there to recharge and get recharged.
So this is where you started dreaming about becoming an actor.
Yeah, I am in Dick Whittington and his cat Toby.
Yeah.
I hope people here can understand the reference and that I'm not embarrassing myself. But it was a pantomime.
No, you're not.
Yeah, and so I've seen so many shows and musicals and plays and pantomimes in London. So it's where I literally started my passion towards acting and performing, and yeah, I'm actually I'm a theater geek. I'm a theater nerd. So so yeah, it's all thanks to London, I guess.
Okay, I have one last question for you. So
Go.
I know you're about to become 26, right?
Yes, next month.
And you very like pretty early stage in your career. I would even say before your career even started, you came out as gay. And I wanted to ask you about what were your thoughts or your agents, your parents, your environment about how to bring it out when you became so massively famous. Was it even a thought? Did you think about doing it or not doing it?
Yeah, it was a thought. It was a thought, and I mean, I can't ignore the fact that it's an interesting question still yet in our times. Although I hope it becomes boring. I mean, I hope it will become a boring question because, I mean, we are still speaking about it now. It's still a thing, which is, I mean, the most usual, and like it's a non-issue to me. And this is what I thought and what I told to myself back then when I questioned this like coming out thing myself. I was myself questioning like if I should do it or I shouldn't. But I understood that I've been like for my first 17 years of like living, I've been ashamed and hating myself and being taught like that I'm like that it's I've been like poisoning I've been poisoned with like thoughts and you know kind
Telling
of
you that
approaches.
it's wrong and you should
That it's
you
not
should
from my
work
parents.
on it.
Yeah, not from my parents or my family or my friends. Just like the whole environment was very like accepting, and I was just like filled with hatred towards myself. And I knew that when I became famous, if I won't speak about it immediately, I will just be silent about it forever. And I didn't want to add anxiety to what I already have and gained in life. And for my own mental health, I wanted to speak about it. And I just wanted to, it's a non-issue for me. Thank God I come from a very supportive family, and all of my friends are very, very liberal and open, and I come from a very loving and open-minded and liberal environment, and I'm very, very lucky for that. So it was a non-issue for me, and this is how I wanted to be. So I spoke about it in a very I brought my non-issue views to the interview, and I'm hoping it will just be and I mean it's just like a fact, a dry fact, and nothing more.
It's definitely on the way, and I want to congratulate you and the community for, I'm sure people don't know it, but in Israel today, the high court decided that in 6 months' time, surrogacy in Israel will be allowed to all citizens, no matter what their sexual preference, which is a battle that the community dealt with for 12 years. And it's crazy because obviously all Israelis had to choose where to do it, either in Georgia or the States or wherever it was allowed, paid millions of shekels in order to become parents, which is ridiculous. And I'm really, really happy for you. I'm happy for my friends, my closest friends that fought for so many years. And now, as soon as you're gonna, if obviously,
I'm 26
because of Alia, but sorry, this is a private joke, and I'll explain. The way Amit and I started communicating was on Instagram. You sent me a message that you love my daughter.
I don't love her. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. And if you don't follow Liraz, please do it immediately, because her daughter is like, if you think us, like we are nothing compared to her. She's a star, and she's so fun and so intelligent. I mean, you must be
I
such
think
a proud.
the joke is more about me talking to her in Hebrew with obvious Israeli accent and attitude, and she's very, very English, replies fully in English with a full British accent. I think that's the comic sense about all her videos.
I'm
But
addicted.
yeah, I want to congratulate you, and I'm so happy that when and if you'll decide to become a parent, you will be able to do it in your own country with your partner right next to you in your country, with the support of your parent right next to you, which is an extreme experience. And I'm so glad for you and for all the whole community that you'll be able to do it. And from that very optimistic note, I'm gonna transfer the mic to Dalia, back to Dalia, who's gonna open the Q&A to the public.
Hi. Well, that was so much fun. Hearing a little bit more about you and about you both. I did forget to mention when I was introducing you that the two of you studied at the same acting studio in Israel.
Yeah,
but with 10 years in between you.
I think even more, I was just a little bit ashamed to say that it's more than that.
We'll say 10. We'll go with that.
Let's go with 10.
Amazing. And I will just add to the Aria stories, Liraz's daughter. There is nothing that gives me more joy than knocking on Liraz's front door, and Aria opens the door, and every time she acts like she's so surprised to see me, and she goes, come in. And I don't know how anyone.
And also shouting your name.
Yeah.
Before opening the door, because she knows it's you. She knows the time that you'll cross by with you.
I love it. There is no end of joy from that child. She's magical.
She is a magic.
She is. Well, let's get back to the stars of today. She's the star of the future for sure. We've got some questions anonymously. Amit, you have a long career ahead of you, clearly. Is there someone you would really like to work with?
Oh my God. So much. I don't know. Should I dream the, like?
Yeah, go
dream
for
big.
it.
Dream big.
Olivia Colman. She's just like the biggest idol.
Nice.
I'm her biggest fan. And she's like one of the best actress, living, and I can watch her all day long, and her interviews and her, roles are just like a treat each time.
Great answer, and well done knowing your audience. Another anonymous question. What is next for you? Do we know?
So I just recently filmed a new Israeli feature, which is called, I want to say, Good Guys. In Hebrew, it's Bachurim Tovim. And it is going to come out probably in next Passover. So stay tuned. I mean, I don't have any more information to share with you now.
Don't worry. If the people who are watching us are from London, I'm gonna make sure it's gonna come to London, and it's going to be part of Seret, the International Seret Festival. So don't worry.
Yay.
And when you come for your premiere, we'll do an event for you, Thalia. So it'll be all of us together. We love it. It's all sorted.
I'm there. I'm in.
Excellent. All right, we'll get a little serious now with this question. How have you coped, and what have you been doing during COVID?
It was very, it was such a complex time, because it was very frustrating on the one hand, but very kind of, as I said, healthy on the other. Like, it's kind of funny to use the term healthy in this specific situation, but it felt like everything was just, slowing down and stopping, and you had the actual chance to, stop and rest. And so, first of all, when COVID started, I just moved apartments. I left my parents' house to Tel Aviv. So I had to, build my apartment, and it was
Wow.
kind of challenging, but very, but it was very important for me to have my own space. And things were closed, so I like slept on a mattress without the actual bed, and I didn't have my fridge yet, and it was kind of rough at the beginning. But then I was just, doing 100 Zooms a day, probably because the show like aired at the time. And then when I wasn't on Zoom, I just, relaxed and watched some TV and tried to fill in the gap, because I was an acting student up until then. We don't have any chance to watch TV or any other content, so I just was trying to watch anything I can, and lots of board game with my roommate. That's kind of it.
Any interest in working in theatre?
Yes, I'm actually going into theater in Israel in a few months. I will start in Be'er Sheva Theater, which is
Oh, cool.
that's very cool. And I'm doing there a new play. I'm going to play there a soldier, based on an Israeli movie from the
One of Us?
Yes. Good one.
Yeah.
And later on this year, I will join also Habima Theater for another role. So,
Habima Theater, just to make it clear, is the national theater in Israel.
Yeah. So I'm going to do their role later on this year, and it's going to be intense to do both roles at the same time in different cities. But yeah, I'm up for it.
Amazing. Another of our viewers asked, did you serve in the IDF? And if so, tell us about that. Tell us.
Yes, so I served in the IDF for 3 years, and it's kind of a cool thing. It's a fun fact. I was in the Army Theater, which is just like a theater troupe to entertain. It's like the entertainment troupe to entertain soldiers. So I mean, each day in my service drove to a different base. I was touring all of the Israeli bases, and performing in front of soldiers with this sketch show. We had a sketch show with my friends that we directed and wrote, and it was a very, very I learned a lot from this experience. It was like my first acting school, because I performed each day in front of soldiers, and I performed anywhere, if it's on the biggest stages in front of hundreds of soldiers, and in kitchens in front of 7 soldiers that 2 of them are asleep. So it was quite an experience, and I learned a lot from the time in the Army, and it was very it was I really enjoyed it for some reason. It like the routine of performing each day in a different place. I found it very very I mean, it was filling.
Liraz, were you in the IDF?
No, yeah, of course, but I wasn't in the theater. I was in Air Force. I was doing something that then machine replaced me. I was a meteorologist, so I was reading the sky and telling the pilots that they can't land, or they need to wait, or they need to be careful from this sandstorm, or this kind of stuff. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, pretty different.
And I have to say that during the acting like while we were acting, we were guarding, and we had like weapons, and we like guarded the base, and we had to we had those like
Yeah, you still do all the
yeah, we still do all
hardcore jobs that you need to do.
Thank you. It's exactly what I meant to say.
And
yeah.
I will tell you that, because I also served in the army, like we had the opportunity to have some of the army performers. We had the like the singing groups came to us. It makes such a difference, you know, like when you are exhausted and you're literally going through the wars, to have someone just there to cheer you up and make you feel better and make you feel appreciated. So, you know, it's important.
Yeah, it is. I'm really glad to hear that.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to, okay, a slightly political question. Do you have an opinion on Yair Lapid's acting career or the new movie Sublet?
Oh, the what?
There's a new movie called Sublet.
Oh yeah,
Ethan
Fox's movie.
Yeah.
And
what has it got to do with Yair Lapid again?
Well, the first part of the question is, do you have an opinion on his acting career?
To be honest, I think I will do justice with you. I think you're too young
Yeah.
to watch any of his appearance on screen. I think.
Yeah, and I think that I mean, was he an actor at one point? That's interesting.
He used to do all sorts of stuff until he found himself as a presenter and an interviewer.
I did watch his talk show, but
yeah, of course, that was at your time.
Yeah, so whoever asked this question, please send me some links to see him acting.
Send you some links, exactly. Find him on Instagram and send him the link.
There you
please,
go.
I'm very curious to see Yair Lapid acting. And as for Sablet, unfortunately, I didn't see it yet. And my friend is acting in it, the lead role, Neve. And I'm a bad friend. And I saw him the other day and I was like, please forgive me, I haven't seen it yet. But I will see it soon. I heard good stuff about it.
Please tell him that he's doing a great job and he's very sweet.
I will. I definitely will.
Talking of Instagram, I understand you have quite a few followers on Instagram, Amit.
Yeah.
Go on, give us the number.
To give you the number, I think it's 209,000. Yeah, 2009.
And what's the demographic of your followers, would you say?
Oh my God, do you want me to open it live?
Well, I've heard rumors that you are a heartthrob for teenage girls. Is it true?
Oh my, who told you this? Who told you?
I'm not going to say it's someone who's on screen, but I'm not naming names.
Me?
Okay.
That's obvious, no?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
gorgeous.
I do have female followers, lots of them, and I don't know where they're from. I've got lots. Wait, I can't find it now.
Listen, my love, when you're doing modeling pictures with Dior and Chanel and Hugo Boss suits, and you look like, there's a picture of you with the most precious suit standing under a shower, and you're all like, come on, of course they're gonna follow you. Who else they're gonna follow?
Yeah.
So let's expand the question a little bit and talk about how social media plays a role in an actor's career now, because it didn't obviously always used to happen.
We just spoke about it. I'm thinking about it in the last few days. I was thinking about your question. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak it out loud, because I just spoke about it with myself. But I feel like for me, social media is a tool, and it can bring me, but at the same time, it can bring me lots of stress, and it can make me very anxious, because you do see there like the ideal life. So for me, I'm trying to stay out of it as much as I can, because I mean, I'm always trying to find the balance between my personal life and the life I want to show on camera. I mean, on my social media, and I do feel that you have to find the balance between showing and exposing who you really are, and to keep a bit mysterious. And for me, I like to keep my private life for myself, and I mean, I don't really want to show everything and put out everything, because I feel like an actor should stay kind of like a step back from the public eye, because it is there. The public eye is there, and it will be there. And if I'll do anything too serious, I mean too extreme, they will know probably. So I'm trying to keep the daily stuff to me, and I share the photogenic part of my life on social media. So yeah, it's a tool, and not, and I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to stay not addicted to it, because it's very easy to be addicted to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom has a question, and then there's another question that kind of they're similar. Tom asks, so you've had practice in flashback, and someone else asked, Amit, was it important to you to play the boy coming out on flashback?
Oh yeah, so important. It was I felt so honored to get the chance to play the first teenager who came out of the closet in a teenage drama in Israel. It was in 2016.
Mm.
I got the role, and I was really excited to portray this guy, Aviv, his name, because it's kind of an historic move to bring to life a character that is coming out as gay for the first time in kids TV. It felt so important, and I felt that I kind of got a gift, a present, and that I'm now I got the microphone. I'm the speaker and of a community. And I mean, I felt that for me, if I were a kid, I mean, in the time when I was a kid, if I'd see this character on screen, it could have saved my life and my friends' lives, and made my childhood a much easier childhood and much easier upbringing. And so I felt the urge to do this role, and when it aired, I got so many messages from kids that are going through sexual identities kind of challenges during their childhood or adulthood, and I felt that it gave them air, and that it gave them actually life, and it was so crucial to I mean, it's such a crucial thing to be seen on TV and to feel represented. So I feel very honored that I got the opportunity to represent my community and actual lives on screen.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah. Thank you. And thank you for doing that, because I think, clearly you're impacting a lot of young people. So that's amazing. We have 3 more questions, and I know that people are probably going to be itching to go and watch the game start. So do you see yourself working behind the camera?
I am a control freak, and as a control freak, I love to direct. So maybe at one point I will be interested in directing. Yeah.
Perfect. Somebody else is asking, how has your family handled your success?
Oh, I mean, if my mom would have known that you were asking this, she would have put on her dress and high heels and just like step in. Um, yeah, my mom is a big Hollywood fan. So my all of my house is like Marilyn Monroe and Gene Kelly pictures, and it's all black and white. And I mean, she raised me up watching the Emmys, the Golden Globes, the Oscars all night. I mean, since the age of 8, we
Wow.
celebrate ceremonies in my living room, and like all night long with my aunt and her, and just like watching the whole ceremony for 6 hours. I don't know how long it is, but it's like
It
it's
feels
ages.
like 6 hours.
For
Yeah.
2 long hours.
Mhm.
And we used to watch it since the age of 8. So when we were nominated for the Emmy and the Golden Globes, and when I was nominated for when I won the Independent Spirit Award, we screened it in my living room with my mom, and it was kind of the biggest closure. And my mom, I mean, she was this whole year and a half just probably sobbing and sobbing and sobbing, and it really closed
Like
the
a
process.
proper Jewish mother.
Yeah.
It's universal.
Yeah, and so it was very so they're very supportive, and they're
Enjoying the fruits.
enjoying the fruits, and she's very pushy like a Jewish mom. So
Oh, babe.
yeah, so it's very fun to celebrate with her, and it's very it's like an ongoing celebration.
That's amazing.
It's also rewarding to be able to give that thing to your mother. And
Yeah, it was when I won the Spirit Award. My mom was, it was 5 a.m. in the morning, and 5 a.m. I mean, and my mom was just like standing behind the screen with her pajamas, and all her hair was like all over the place, and we were up all night, and she was just like screaming, and it was so funny, and I was dedicating it to her while being in our living room where we watched all the ceremonies.
Oh, babe, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was just like the biggest thing. And a funny thing is that because it was all on Zoom, they interviewed me after winning the award, and I was live. It was broadcast live, and my dog was starting to get into the frame. I was in my my childhood house, so my dog was here, and my mom didn't realize that I'm in a Zoom now interview in front of the whole world after like a moment after winning, and she came to just and tried to grab the dog, and she was with her pajamas, and like it was so much, she was like, she stole the thunder, and it was so much more behind me, and she was not aware that this is her like glory moment in her pajamas. So it was very funny.
Oh my God.
That is like
So
a family legend to laugh about for
Yeah.
years. Perfect.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good one. Congratulations on the Independent Spirit Award. I have to say that's my favorite award. I don't watch the show, but it's the awards that I follow because those are the films that I want to see. So
yeah.
I was so happy for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. And we've got one last question before we say goodnight. So are you dating these days?
Oh my God.
You can't come to a Jewish event and not expect people to want to set you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I should say that I am dating. Yeah, I should say that. Yeah. And let's keep it like that. I want to keep it like that. Kind of. Yeah. I'm single. Okay, I'm single these days. So yeah, if it's interesting anyone, this is my answer.
Okay, so in other words, if we've got gay cousins and friends in Israel, we can maybe talk.
My Instagram is open.
Okay.
DMs, I like DM me, everyone.
Okay, excellent. We love it. Amit, it has been an absolute joy. It's been amazing. Thank you. Thank you for, I know that you're probably zoomed out this past year.
It's like, it's always a pleasure, and I had the best time with you, and I can't wait to meet you guys in person and to make this event.
August, we're gonna make it happen in August.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Bring it home, please. Bring it home.
We're just going to go do that now real quick. Yeah.
Yes, they're gonna do their best.
Yeah, we'll try. Liraz, also thank you. Thank you for bringing us all together.
Everything. Amit, obviously, we're gonna talk. But yes, thank you everybody who stayed with us, and good night. Enjoy the game.
Yes, so thank you both. I just want to wrap it up by reminding everyone that tonight was an event in support of Youth Aliyah Child Rescue, helping the most marginalized children in Israel and giving them the opportunities that we think that every child should have. If you want to stay in touch, we would love it. Sign up for emails on our website. It's at the bottom of every page of our website.
Do it, please do it.
You can donate.
Very, very important. These kids need that support.
They do, and they are so grateful. And it makes a difference to them to know that there are people around the world thinking of them and investing in them, because they don't necessarily have families that are emotionally invested in them. So what we can do for them is very, very profound. Tell other people about our charity. Look out for more events. We're taking a break for the summer. This is an amazing way to end the season. We've got some really fun stuff coming in the autumn. So stay in touch with us, and follow Liraz and Amit on Instagram. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much, and we wish you all a great night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.